Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video we'll be talking about more variables, like more about variables that we missed in the previous video. So if you want to find the type of variable, so if I recap the previous parts where we talked about the variables. Okay, what this is. Okay, no, cancel. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so about previous variables, so yeah, we discussed on what variables are, what casting is, what were the single quotations and double quotation significance. Then we talked about that the variables are case sensitive. Now we will talk about how to find type of a variable. So as I said that int, string, float and bool, we have multiple data types and we can assign them as the value for any variable. We can assign them in any variable. So like if x equals to 1, if I want to check and y is equals to string of 1. So if I want to check which one of these is integer and which one of this is string, I can just use a type keyword which is provided by Python. So what this type keyword do is you pass on in a parameter the variable name, and this type keyword will provide the data type of the variable. So if I do type x, it will return me int. If I do type of y, it will give me string, because 1 is inside double quotes. Okay, now next move on to naming convention of variables. Conventions of variables. Okay, so as I told you that we can have variable names, but Python has a strict rules on what we can name any of the variables. So few rules that you should consider while naming a variable is it should always start with character, or an underscore. So underscore is this. Okay, now my variable underscore var name, capital my and then capital var, these three are valid variable names. But if we do one var or like @ abc, then these are not, because as the rule suggests that a variable should always start with the character and an underscore. Okay, second, a variable should always have alphanumeric character. Okay, so by alphanumeric I mean A to Z, small a to small z, 0 to 9 and an underscore, like over here as well. So this second rule is more of a children of this first rule, the parent rule. Okay, so my one var, my var, these are also valid variable names. Okay, next rule is a variable is case sensitive. Okay, so as I explained before as well, the definition of case sensitive. So ABC, ABC and ABC, these three are different variable names and valid as well. Okay, and the last rule is a Python variable name should not be a Python keyword. So what keywords are? These are the predefined names that Python comes up with. So if I say if, else, and, lambda, or list, string, int, float, so all these are the keywords of Python. Keywords of Python, and you cannot use them as a a variable name, because if you do that, the Python will return an error, and the code will stop its execution over there. Okay, so try to avoid all the keywords name. I have just given the example of few, and there are a lot of other keywords name as well. So yeah, try to avoid these. This is about the naming convention of the variable. Next, I would like to talk about global global variables. Okay, I think before moving to global variables, I think, yeah, I have given the print statement, how to print it, right? So like how to output a variable name, you can just use, okay, yeah, I haven't told that. Okay, so how to get the output of a variable, it's a very basic thing I thought you should know. So if you do, okay, this is bad, wait, yeah, so you can just type print and the variable name, and it will give you the value of your variable, value stored in the variable. Okay, so this is how you get the output of variable. Okay, now let's talk about global variables. Actually, the fact that global variable was in the end over here, I didn't like that, so I introduced the output before it. Okay, now so global variables. So there are two types of variables. One is global variable and one is local variable. So the technical difference between them is that global variable can be accessed within or outside the function. Okay, and the local variable can only be accessed where it is defined. If it is defined in one function, it can only be accessed in that function only, and not in the other functions. So let's suppose if I have two functions, def get a, and it has the value a of 5, and it will say print of a, and then I have def of b get b, and if I try to print b over here, a over here, this line will give me an error, and it will be, I think, namespace error. I think I can't remember the error name, but yeah, it will give me the error over here because I have assigned a as a local variable inside my get a function, and if I try to access it over here, I will get output as 5, but if I try to access it over here, I will get an error. So how can I access this a in both of the functions? This is where the global variables come in. Okay, so if you define a function a equal to 10 over here, right, and then you do def get a and print a over here, and def get b, and again print a over here, so you will get 10 here as an answer and 10 here as an answer. Okay, now another tricky thing is that you can manipulate the global variable inside a function. So in an easier way, if you have already defined a global variable like this, a equal to 20, and inside of function get a, if I change the value of a equals to 10 and try to print a over here, and if I inside the function b I try to print a, then what do you think will happen? I would like to pause for like you to pause for a minute and think about it. You can try it in your IDE as well, no issues. So yeah, this print a will give me the answer 10, and then this print a will give me the answer 20, only because inside the get a function I used a as a local variable as well, and I overwrited its value by 10. So when I do the print a over here, I will get the value 10, and if I print the value over here, I'll get the value 20 only. So yeah, if you are also running it in your IDE after you wrote this entire function, just do get a and get b and then run your code, then it will work and you will be able to see what are the real outputs. Okay, so this is about the global variables. I think that's more about it. I hope I made it very clear to you. So if there are any suggestions, do let me know in the comment section. Till then, bye and have a nice day.